just to play some games, do some battles.
If astrogation goes far, Chaki's tiebreakers could be pretty good depending on who he played early on in the day. But we actually have another round 5 matchup to bring you guys. It's RayC versus Rosty, another 3-1 match. So again, hard to emphasize the importance of these 3-1 matches in round 5, because if you go to 3-2 this early, it's really tough for you to make it. If you move to 4-1, you're feeling pretty good going into your last match of the day.
Yeah, and these guys already playing at a fast pace early on. Not really much thought to this gluttonous ooze, just a very strong value play here from RayC to try to make up what he's lost. But this matchup can get a little bit tricky for RayC. He has a lot of value stacked in this deck. His main goal is to find a very powerful turn where he generates an immense amount of value. And that's going to sit not only in card draw, but it's going to sit with cards like Medivh. Medivh can provide an immense amount of value when the right situation is there. But he is racing against a clock, with Rosty just taunting up turn after turn. Unless RayC is able to very effectively control the board through the tools he's got, the quest can get out of control and deliver a lot of damage. But here, RayC has had a great hand to fight against what Rosty's doing, but Rosty's not anywhere short on gas in this one.
This is
buckle in.
This is a blistering pace, and both these players are players that play in open cups all day long, grind ladder all day long. And so they're used to being in this situation. They're playing from their comfort zone, basically. We said that it's about, when you get into these big matches, these aren't, ladder matches. These aren't open cup matches where you have additional chances. These are matches where you're playing for a spot in a championship. So you need to slow it down. But for some players, playing in the comfort zone is actually really important. Going back to those moments where, you are grinding these games and sort of going back to those instincts and that knowledge that you gain by playing on those games can sometimes be beneficial.
Indeed it can. RayC has a lot of experience with Quest Warrior. He was actually one of the early proponents of the deck. He very quickly pushed it on the ladder, kept refining the deck, wrote a guide for it and said, here are the big mistakes I think I see a lot of players making with Quest Warrior. A very successful, detailed guide that helped shape the way that I looked at the deck as well. But Rosty, he's no stranger to these situations either. He's always tended to play a bit on the fast side, and he trusts his instincts a lot. He was second place at the Spring Championships last year in 2016. He was top 16 at the Summer Prelims that same year. Yeah. Both these guys have had fairly deep runs in tournaments and in the Hearthstone Championship Tour.
RayC has a tournament win this year.
Yeah, that's right. And this is another big match for these guys. At 3-1, another loss can really put your hopes a little bit lower. So going to 4-1 though, that's a big pick-me-up when you're in this spot after a long game play.
Yeah. So quest completed rather early for Rosty. There is, a risk in playing the Soul Frost early, because all of a sudden you play the Soul Frost, you get Alexstrasza, your opponent follows it up with Burn. You're not in that great of a spot. But if you can sort of play a little bit more aggressive and go for, well, he's going for it, and he's going to chip away his armor by swinging into this Hog Rider.
Oh, he's not looking to swing at it necessarily.
No, he's swinging at it.
Yeah, now he has to. But I agree with Rosty's game plan here. Just get very aggressive and hope that RayC doesn't have an Alexstrasza. If he waits too long, RayC is going to be able to put together a lot of tools anyway.
Medivh the Guardian, that or Alexstrasza were the ideal pickups in that scenario. And now if he misses this, that 7 damage is coming in hot. Woo! It's coming in hot.
Yeah, Curator's going to try to stand in the way, but
yeah,
I think RayC is going to have something to say about that.
Yeah. Does get the Curator out, like you said, and he's going to pick up Direhorn Hatchling plus Primordial Drake, which will, buy him a little bit more time. But depending on what comes out of this Medivh, Rosty could be in a world of hurt. And Primordial Glyph picked up.
Polymorph used over the Fireball here.
Oh, he might use
the burn.
Might use a Fireball anyway. I think so.
Or both.
So let's see. If he uses Fireball, he does 13, puts Rosty down to 14. If one minion connects next turn with Pyroblast, then he's looking like he's in a good spot. But he's going to clear up the board and protect what he does have. Divine Shield.
It's not a bad one. That helps.
Sign me up.
Helps prevent what Primordial Drake or Sleep with the Fishes would have against this. But this is still a pretty massive turn if you're in Rosty's spot. This Primordial Drake hanging onto this coin the whole game. This next shot is very important.
Let's see. That hero power only wants to go one place.
And this is a danger zone here for Rosty. He's wanted to clear one minion in all of these situations, and now contemplating if he should use the Sulfuros to try to protect his Primordial Drake. That's 7 more damage that he's electing to take if he does that. And frankly, TJ, I don't know if that's the right call.
He's going to go down to 13 with no armor game left. Now, so we've seen a Fireball. He's seen the Polymorph.
And now he's seen a Pyro. And now Rosty's sweating.
Yasharaj pulls out Alexstrasza. Sea Giant's good too.
Rock Pop. But at 3, Rosty is not feeling comfortable about this.
Primordial Glyph, any point of damage. Or any point of damage off the top. A lot of outs here for RayC.
Is that too hasty of Rosty to take that damage? And Ice Block's going to give him another turn. Do you just go for it?
Arcane Missiles, you need 2 shots.
Well, the problem with that is if he leaves up the Alley Armor Smith, Rosty's going to be able to chip back a little bit.
Oh, he's going for it.
RayC's not afraid.
Needs 2 shots of this Arcane Missile. That's 1 to the face and 2 to the face.
I have to say, tanking that damage on the Eve sunk Rosty in that game. It is now game 5 between the two of them.
Yeah, to be honest, though, I mean, you're in a situation where you either tank that 4 damage or that 4 damage takes out your Primordial Drake.
See ya, Primordial Drake.
Peace. I mean, he used it the next turn to execute a minion anyway.
Look, I like you a lot, bud, but I'm going to die here. You got to take the hit for me, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah. We're going to jump into game 5 in a moment to see the conclusion of this series. Sort of looking at the decks and what happened earlier on in the series. Rosty has won with his Priest, which is a Silence Priest, and he's also won with his Mage. In that series, RayC has won with his Paladin, and he also just took a win with his Mage. So it looks like the last match is going to come down to Warrior versus Warrior.
Yep.
There you go.
And this was the deck that RayC was working on very early in the Ungoro metagame. And there are a lot of key differences that I want to point out in this matchup. Number 1 is Dirty Rat alone. Rosty has chosen to play 1 copy of Dirty Rat. RayC has chosen to play 2, and that's an important card in this matchup because the Warrior quest says play 7 minions with taunt, not summon 7 minions with taunt.
What about the Curator too?
And Curator's a fantastic pull from this. So not only does this delay Rosty's overall progress towards the later stages of the game, but the amount of damage that Rosty's able to chip in here oftentimes won't add up towards the end of the game. It boils down to who gets that quest online first and foremost. With RayC having the extra copy of Dirty Rat, it's extra chances to disrupt Rosty's game plan.
And RayC has the taunts that he needs basically in his hand already. With Stonehill Defender, Bloodhoof Brave, he'll be able to pick up another taunt. Battle Rage as well. It feels like Battle Rage can give you a lot of gas towards the end of the game when we're talking about the Warrior Mirror matchup, because you do leave minions damaged. Everything's high health, low attack. So usually you can trade in stuff, Battle Rage, to be able to pick up a ton of cards. And with the Dirty Rats, I feel like RayC's deck is teched a little bit better for the mirrors than Rosty's is.
Yeah, but that's a big draw. You get something on board.
Yeah.
If you're behind in the quest progress, the chip damage, I think, matters a lot more than if you're ahead.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden you get that Sulfuros online, a couple hero powers at the face, all of a sudden that chip damage means you need 1 shot instead of 2 shots to the face later on in the game. So.
That's right. And RayC just going to go with Tarlord here. After he's already seen an execute in this spot, so he knows the likelihood of Tarlord getting value in combat is fairly high in this situation. Either that or it's going to just simply buy him a lot of time in those situations. I think I agree with the Tarlord take in this spot, even though he could have perhaps accelerated his progress for the quest a little bit more.
Yeah. So RayC finally finds a turn where he slows down. Sleep with the Fish is a card that can sometimes be hard to find value. Killing off 2 minions is pretty good value.
About as good as it's going to get in this matchup.
And he rolls right into a Tarlord. I love these control matchups, man. This doesn't even feel like a control versus control game.
Just not as Dormu roll between the two of them. Can't take your time. It's not allowed between RayC and Rosty. Good news and bad news.
Good news, free 2/6 taunt. Bad news, not what the card's intended for.
So not a lot of combat potential from RayC's side, but
well, hello there.
that's a big one. This has just been haymakers back and forth this whole game.
Yeah. RayC, first one to finish the quest, not behind on board.
And there is not effective combat for Rosty in this situation. That's a lot of stuff.
And this is a really nice board for RayC to be able to try and clean up with the Soul Frost.
That's about as good as it's going to get. Now the question here for RayC is, should he armor up prior to it? And it's a bit of a difficult question, but I imagine drawing cards is a bit more in the forefront of his mind. In this situation, if he nails the Primordial Drake, he's going to be far ahead where the development is concerned, far ahead where card economy is concerned, and Rosty's going to have a tough time
Nailed it.
finding a close here. Wow.
Armor made to fit.
Even if he missed that, that Primordial Drake still can't get through the Tar Lord.
Speak to me.
And it's probably going to die again, or die still next turn.
And RayC says, I want damage and I want it now.
How about 8 more to the face?
Seems good to me. Just hit my own guys, why not? Rosty is going to need a big result from this brawl.
Well,
He's going to win.
a taunt is something.
Primordial Drake living is a disaster. Well, it's not quite that. It's still pretty bad.
Yeah. All right, so it's finally going to be the quest completion for Rosty. So he's going to be able to get Soul Frost online next turn. But is it too late at this point? He's lost a lot of value. Basically a bunch of free cards just to the hero power alone from RayC. But the health totals are relatively even. RayC does have quite a significant resource advantage with multiple minions in the hand, with a little bit more removal. And if he continues nailing minions,
I'm a little surprised he chose the hero power first in that spot, but this does allow him to get the Fiery War Axe down and get a couple of swings in as well. So long term, he doesn't really lose any damage in this spot. It just gives him an opportunity to hang on to execute rather than Fiery War Axe.
yeah. Direhorn Matriarch.
There is
Tom
no
Mann's
option.
that can survive the 8 damage.
There's no option here for Rosty. He's got to play his hand as strong as he possibly can at this point and hope to retake the lead. That swing would have been awfully awkward.
Mother versus kin.
Oh, and Harrison Jones found for RayC. That's going to buy him not only additional life, but additional cards, and he gets a 5-4. That is a huge draw for RayC right now.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I feel like that basically seals the game for him. Rosty just has barely any removal left. Ravage Ghoul plus Sleep with the Fishes can get rid of this Harrison. But I mean, he's not developing any minions. He's not getting closer to winning the game. He's just taking away RayC's threats and dying slowly. He's at 14 health. That's 2 rag shots away.
That's that big difference between completing your quest before your opponent. The Dirty Rat from RayC nailing Curator was massive early on in the game, despite the 4-6 for free that Rosty got.
The Rosty's Dirty Rat whiffed. Pulled nothing, and then he gets Primordial Drake off the top, slams it, finishes the quest. And RayC takes the victory, 3-2 over Rosty, moves up 4-1 in the Swiss rounds. And we'll take a look at notables now.